Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the basics of how I actually boil and braise my dal. Because dal goes well with almost every curries like and even your biryanis. And so I'll just show you the basic of making dal. This is 1 cup of a yellow dal. We actually call it yellow split peas. I picked and I washed and I drained, and I have my stove already switched on, and I'm using a deep pot so the dal don't boil over. I've used 3 liters of water put into the pot for boiling of the dal. Now the water is actually going to boil. You can actually use a boiled water. And this is a cup, 250 ml of dal that I washed, and I'm going to put it in to my pot, and I'll allow this to boil for about an hour. Okay, up to this point, after an hour, my dal is actually halfway done, and thereafter I'm going to add in a tablespoon of rough salt to taste, and just half a teaspoon of hurdee because I don't want to overpower the dal. Okay, there's an easier way to actually boil your dal in a pressure cooker, which will actually take you maybe quarter of this time. I actually boil my dal by kilos, because if you boil dal actually using a pot, whether it's 1 cup or a kilo, it takes the same time. And then I pack it away in smaller portions and freeze it. That actually makes it even more easier. Whenever I need to use dal, so I just take a portion and I thaw it and I braise it, and it be ready to eat. Okay, half an hour has passed us and the dal is thickened and fully cooked. To this point I tasted our salt and it was just right. But there's a tip that I want to actually tell you all. If your salt went a little extra, you can use maybe a quarter teaspoon of sugar to your dal, and that will actually even help the gases breaking down. But if it's like maybe for some reason you use the salt twice and it became too salty, this is what you do. Actually, you switch your stove off, you put in a cup of plain water, and the dal actually settles down very well. So you drop the excess water from the dal and then use another cup of plain water to allow it to boil again, and you can taste the salt according to your taste. If it's still extra, you can repeat it, doing the same thing maybe twice. Actually, it's an experience that I went through. Okay, now I'm ready to braise my dal. For the braising, I have quarter cup of oil, 2 tablespoons of margarine, and thereafter I have you can have 2 to 3 dry chillies, or you can also use a little bit of green chillies if you like it a little hot. And then I have 3 cloves of garlic that I crushed, and a small medium size of tomato, and a medium size of onions. Firstly, I'm going to put in my quarter cup of oil, and together goes my 2 tablespoons of margarine, and I add in my onions. Okay, I'll actually allow my onions to brown a little. Okay, while my onions is browning, I actually forgot to mention my few curry leaf to add in, but it's optional. And then I have my dry chilies that I'm going to break and allow it to fry. My half a teaspoon of jeera, half a teaspoon of mustard seed, and my 3 cloves of smashed garlic. Allow all this to fry together. My onions that's fried out, I'm going to add in my grated tomato. Usually you can actually add brinjal, sour herbs. You can actually make different types of dhal. You can actually soak your dhal overnight and braise it like a normal beans curry. It cooks very well. I'll allow this to cook out the tomatoes. Okay, my braising is already done, ready to pour into the dhal. Let it to simmer for a little while, and then I've got for the garnish some dhania and spring onions. So that's our basic recipe for dhal. Here's your dhal, the basic dhal that we actually use for every different types of curry and our biryanis. In fact, this dhal can actually be even eaten as rich, hearty soup with a little bit of butter bread. And when babies are growing up, this is the first food that we introduce to them, like dhal and rice or dhal. It's very healthy. Thank you all for watching.